Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dean Images Podcast. I'm your host, Russell Dean Thompson, and today I have two very special guests, Street Outlaw, the new guy, everyone's friend, the people's champ. I've heard them all, but to me, he's just Damon Merchant. And to the right of him, guess who else we've got? The man, what some people call him the Toon Wizard, I think. I'm not sure.
I call him my stunt double.
Stunt double? Yeah. Craig Stevens. So,
Green shoes.
Green shoes.
5 minutes ago, your son couldn't even tell us apart.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, which one's Damon? Like, oh, yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. And I realized we're probably not going to hear Craig very much because he's afraid to get close to the microphone or move it around.
I'll move a little bit.
He's leaning down like Ricky Bobby, like, I don't know, do my hands.
a little better there.
We'll all get used to it.
And that's what's
before
the greatest part. You just get it comfortable where it feels good and, all that shit.
It's a
So.
very large black thing coming towards our mouth.
Oh, no.
Damn.
Here we go
it's
again.
Awkward.
I don't know how it's awkward for you.
Awkward.
Why is that
it
awkward
never
for you?
used to be awkward.
I keep trying to avoid it, and I get further away every time.
Oh, so as you can see, we have this amazing buffet of alcohol.
I really got something going here.
What you got?
I got a cocktail. I got a beer, and then I got some moonshine you threw at me.
Apple
So
pie.
I've got a fucking buffet of alcohol right here, and I'm probably gonna need it. So
This could go bad.
it could go really good. Too.
It could go really good. When are you going to get you one of these? Check that out.
Let me try one of these old fashions you've been.
This is a
talking
little
about.
watered
I've been
down.
hearing
It's a
about
little watered down because I've had some ice in it and stuff. So
solid month here has been going by, and I've been hearing about these old fashions.
and that's not very strong. I'll
Yeah,
mix a brand new one. You'll be like, holy shit.
all right. So I'll just do the first one. Right?
Yeah, go for it.
Nope, not a fan. That is a lot of whiskey. Woo!
Yeah, that's straight bourbon.
I mean,
it's literally
that's a
straight.
man drink
It's
right
a
there.
straight bourbon with a cherry in it. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah. I think you've explained.
Okay, so basically what you do, you start off with like a regular glass. You throw a sugar cube in. You throw some some orange bitters in there. You crush it up. You pour your whiskey in. You stir it for about 30 seconds. Try to get the sugar dissolved. Then you throw all your bourbon in. Your ice. Give it another stir. Throw a dark cherry in, and
That's voila.
voila!
Wow.
Prepare to get shithoused.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's a
stout drink.
But it's a sip and drink. I mean, that's kind of how we look
I
at it.
should have sipped it. I
Oh, did you?
chugged.
Oh,
I took
yeah.
a little gulp. And,
Yeah. It's not a Malibu and diet.
not what I'm used to. Okay. Yeah, I like those fruity drinks.
Yeah, I know. What? Yeah, I was about to say, what do you got in there? Like 3 White Claws?
It's a vanilla. It's a vanilla vodka, Red Bull, and a little bit of Sprite.
Nice.
So
Flavorful.
And Craig, are you just a beer man or
Just
what?
a Michelob.
Just a Michelob
Red
guy?
Bull and vodka every now and then, but never just
everybody's boycotting Anheuser-Busch at the moment. So
I don't know why.
I mean, I'm not.
I've never. I mean,
I like my Michelob.
it just makes me laugh that now I'm gonna be able to give my buddies shit about it because they've always been Bud Light fans. And I'd like see them drinking Bud Light, like you still like Bud Light.
I hope the price don't keep going up because a fucking 6-pack of this is $12.
Yeah,
now.
it's
So
just getting more and more expensive.
hopefully they took a hit. Prices will drop. We'll all be able to afford Michelob Ultra.
That's why you find your buddies up in the mountains.
That's right.
Yeah, because that shit'll last you a while. That stuff's
That-
bad news.
That's a sip and drink.
Yeah.
if
Well,
you
the
sip
thing is, even when you sip it, you're like, there's not much alcohol in that, and then a couple minutes later, God, yeah. So yeah,
Saying
you can.
some stupid shit on a podcast 3 minutes later.
But that's the greatest thing about this is like this is a chance not just for me, I mean for y'all, but especially for me because like when I had Mike Galloway on, it was my first one too, and I was kind of like I don't know, do I kind of be myself? Do I throw a few cuss words? But I just did it as professional as I could because he was a TV announcer. And that's the way a lot of people saw him. You guys are on Street Outlaws. It's bleeps every other 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of like they're used to hearing you cuss and stuff. But Mike's, real, that's TV Mike.
Professional.
Now personal Mike is awesome. He would probably fit in. We could throw him a chair over there, and he'd be a lot of fun.
He's a sailor.
So, yeah. Oh yeah. He don't talk about it. I don't think he talks about it much. But
Well,
yeah.
if you watched our recent YouTube video, you will see that I was raised by a sailor. My mom worked in a nail saloon, and she cusses like a sailor.
a
And my
nail
grandma.
a nail saloon.
They call it a nail saloon. That's where it was. The nail saloon. in
The
Chickasha.
nail
Yeah.
saloon.
La Prina. can't remember her last name. Laprina owned it, and it was called the Nail Saloon.
I'm sorry, but if I hear the Nail Saloon by Naprina, I think there's got to be some
Some naked chicks.
Yeah, well, that I was thinking just some rough women in there. I mean, and rough around the edges, but the kind that like probably.
You ever met my mom?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she's the kind of lady that would be running a bar and be like, it's last call, but lock the doors. We're getting fucked up on my bill tonight.
So
She'd let you guys get drunk.
As they were doing nails, pedicures, manicures, and stuff, they were slinging drinks. They had a margarita machine. Wow. And I witnessed a lot of chicks getting drunk in there while they getting their nails done. That's what they did. That's why they call it the saloon. So, I mean, it's still in operation in Chickasha, and that's what they do. I mean, they do their thing. I'm not so sure they sell drinks there or supply drinks there anymore as you're getting your nails done, but at once upon a time they did.
Well, they might have went the professional route. It's like some places are like, oh yeah, we do pedicures and mimosas. Oh hell yeah, I want to go there.
No, they did vodka and whiskey. They did fucking old fashioned.
Yeah, old days. Yeah, let me get you an old fashioned and do your nails.
Yeah, they ain't no pussies about it. They got down.
Oh, so Craig, what's going on with you, man?
Living the dream. Working on cars.
That's about as far as the dream goes anymore, doesn't it? It's like you just like, and like, what do you do? It's like when people ask you, like, keeping you busy, shit like that. It's like, yeah, dude, I'm just always working.
If you're actually paying your bills these days and you're enjoying your hobbies and stuff, that's living the dream these days. That's about it. People don't want to work. They don't want to do this and that. So, you get you a job locked down and you're, active in your hobbies and whatnot, you're living the dream at that point.
I think all of us have learned too. Dreams cost a lot of fucking money.
In drag racing, they goddamn sure do.
I know.
Guns, drag racing, anything that we got going on here. Fuck yeah, they learned how to stick it to us. Yeah, that's for sure.
So it's like I don't see a whole lot of investments out there. That's the crazy thing. I see a lot of I see a lot of toys. I mean, yeah, it can be an investment for for certain reasons to where you can make some money off it, but let's get down to it. Those are just really expensive toys that the minute they hit the track, they're not insured anymore, and you're not insured. So it's like, Jesus Christ. I can't even imagine what goes through half you guys' heads when you are out there knowing that.
You don't think about it. And I mean, you've had that conversation before. Right. It's like, how in the fuck do you spend that much money on something and it not be a guaranteed thing? You don't think about it. You just fucking...
grip it and rip it.
That's right.
Enjoy the time.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
and make every pass, count like it's your last one.
Right.
That's how we got to do it anyway. I mean, we're a little bit different than the rest of them, and we came up a little bit different than a lot of them, I think, and that's what people need to know about us. Like, as we get into this deal a little bit further, you'll probably see more of that, but
right.
We've got one car that has the heart and soul in it. We treat it like it's the one car with the heart and soul in it. There's not 4 more in the stable. If we heard it, we can go grab a different one.
And you don't have a lot of backup engines, transmissions laying around.
Hey, this year we might have a backup engine.
Well, that's that's what I thought was kind of cool. But it's like, I just remember that was the craziest thing was like when we were in Alabama, and I think Dave either hurt his transmission or hurt something, and he was like, he's like, just upper deck of the trailer. There's another one up there. Like, what? God. Or there's like 3 of them up there.
Yeah,
like, Jesus.
I ran around with Dave quite a bit and helped him. And, my whole goal after we, hurt the car and we took it apart and we decided to go a little harder on this deal, I started running with Dave quite a bit, but I realized real quick, a lot of those guys don't have spare engines and stuff. They do have spare parts, and I kind of seen what people needed and what people used and whatnot. And it gave me an opportunity to look and see how they ran their systems, and we're still competitive because Dave was still a top 10 car at the time. Yeah, and that's not an easy task to do at this level. And no, he didn't have a spare engine, but he had spare heads. Yeah, he had spare parts here and there, and kind of learned then what is the failures on some of these engines and whatnot. I was there to learn that whole time. Yeah, how people staged, how people ran their races, what kind of parts they had, what kind of tools they used and whatnot, because it's a different level than how we were growing up, or how we came up and we seen on the street and whatnot. So it gave me a good opportunity to kind of gauge what we needed to run this series.
Yeah.
And I felt like after we did all the way to Ennis, the very last race, I had a pretty good idea what the fuck we needed to do to be able to run this deal.
Right. And so on, because Rogues right now is at Brando up in Iowa, correct? And still awaiting the phone call.
Well, he's real close. I talked to him, actually, today's Sunday, and I talked to him today. He's got to finish up, weld out the headers and plummet with the hoses and stuff. And he's done with his part up to the point we come pick it up. We take it to the dyno and we start, trying to make some power with this deal and kind of see where we land. Then it's just going to be test.
And have you done enough change ups or anything other than your the combo you've had for a long time? But I know you made some changes. But has there been anything that would be harder to like a learning curve for you, Craig, to tune on, or is it going to be kind of plug and play like it used to be?
It's basically all still the same general principle of it. We got a little different cubic inch, but it's nothing that'll change the way we operate the car. A little different weight here and there, so we'll have to learn how to make the chassis leave and be happy in the acceleration of the car. But
so this isn't going to be like going from Rogue to Sedusa when you were learning how to tune a Coyote from a big block. Okay, so it's like there'll be a little adjustment, but you'll be back to
same basic principle. Okay. We went from 8 injector to 16 injector, so there's going to be a different percentage used on that. You're killing out different things at different times. But it's not a learning curve we got to step into and learn something whole new. It's just
basically going to be testing. It's going to be the same car, but it's testing a new.
I mean, literally, this probably make 1,000 more horsepower.
Jesus.
The setup that we ran before, a lot of people said it wouldn't do what we ended up making it do.
You did a lot of shit with that car.
We never did change the actual engine combination. We changed the transmission. We changed some things about the car itself and how it worked, the weight of the car and everything. But we never got away from the power plant that we initially started with. So once he got a good handle on power managing that setup, we just squeezed every fucking thing that we could out of that engine.
Right.
And, we did a lot of things with it that people said we couldn't do. This engine's going to be a little bit different as far as the degree of the head.
Yes.
Timing's going to be a little bit weird from what we did before with a 20-degree head.
Yeah.
It's a 9-degree head. It's the big 9 from MBE. And it's going to kind of it's going to take a little getting used to around what it likes.
Yeah.
And the compression of the engine. We're going to start with one. I've got a range of head gaskets to make the compression a little bit different. If it wants more compression, we can give it a little bit more compression, and we're going to see where it kind of ends up at and likes, and then we're just going to go hard from there.
And probably the greatest improvement, obviously, is the fact that this is a billet block, right? It's a block that can be fixed compared to a cast iron.
That's really the only upgrade. There's no horsepower. There might be a little bit of weight change for it. It changes the weight. It's a little bit lighter block than we ran with the cast stuff before. But performance-wise, it's really no different.
Yeah.
I don't know why they get hung up on the weight of billet stuff, but it is repairable, I'll say that.
And that's what I was just saying, because it was like, you told me, like, you crack a cast iron block, you're in line waiting for a new block. This one, like, you crack this one or do some unbelievable damage to it. You pull everything off, you send it somewhere, they weld it back together. You can start, you mill it, re-sleeve it, and you can start over.
Yep.
So now you're, instead of being down waiting for a new block, you're just waiting for repairs.
Yep.
And obviously, did you say you had someone in Dallas or someone that could?
In the Texas area,
that could do it. Yeah, so
it was built by CN. But he does not do the repairs, but he can send you to somebody that does the repairs.
Okay, cool.
He's got an idea of who can fix it and who can't.
And and coming with a repairable block, I'm sure that takes up a little extra money.
For sure. Things aren't cheap.
Nah.
It took me a while to, come up to afford one of those, and then all the parts to go into it. At first, like when we first went from the steel block to the cast iron block, I used every fucking thing that was out of the cast iron block into the aluminum block because I couldn't afford another set of rods and everything. Everything went into that cast iron block or that cast aluminum block. But we knew it was going to be a lot lighter.
Yeah.
How the car was going to work. So we just made that change. Now I need that block actually is at Gerald's right now, and we're rebuilding it just for a backup. I think we're going to make some probably really good power with it this year too. We changed the whole top end of it. It's going to have the same bottom end, and it's still steel rotted and everything, but none of this shit really matters up to the point where it's getting the new 18-degree heads with a new intake, and it should be ready to rock and roll pretty quick.
Does that do anything for the transmission as far as like having to redo anything, remap, or it just takes whatever you bolted up to?
Basically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because
that changes. The converter will be a little bit different, but I prepared to have 2 converters to run on both engines. Both engines should be have its own converter and everything for it.
And when you're talking about producing another 1,000 horse, like is the transmission just built for certain amounts of
horse? To a certain amount.
Okay. So you always get the baddest ass just whatever you want to get. You want to get something that's like it's just like kind of like the oil field. It's
I
like
need something that holds 4,000 horsepower, and he's like, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It's kind of like the oil field, like when they give you a hose and are like, this is 20,000 pound burst hose. Like, oh, thank God, because we're working with like 6,000 or 7,000. Like, well, that's why we do double up. It may be rated at 10,000, but it's 20,000 pound burst. It's like, oh, okay, that makes me happy.
You got to get into that with your converter, and that's about it. I mean,
okay.
How the stator is and everything in it. But.
And those are 2 speeds, or
no? There's 3 speeds. We ran the 2-speed Power Glide forever, and we beat on that fucking thing, and everybody said it wouldn't live and wouldn't hold up. But we could see where it was hurting the blower engine.
Yeah.
So we knew we needed a 3-speed, and that's when we made that change. I mean, 5, 6, 7 speed would be even better, but they're actually hitting those guys for rules this year on anything over 4 or 5 speed. 5 speed. Yeah.
Okay.
You start getting hit for all those different gears.
Right. So the rules, because these came out a couple weeks ago, I believe, when everyone started kind of getting the idea of what was going to be changing up. And there were some guys on Facebook that were like, doesn't affect me. And then there were some guys that were fucking big mad. Oh, yeah. So I'm just I'm just curious, like what and you don't have to talk about them. I mean, if it's kind of like
I'm ecstatic about the rules.
Okay.
I mean, it fucking fit in our wheelhouse.
Okay,
real well.
Okay,
we've always been on 34.5. We've always been able to make car go fast on 34.5. We've always ran a smaller blower like the 121. And the car is making the weight that we're required to run at this with what engine combination and blower that we're running. So. Really, everything goes into our favor.
Nice. So, on what's the future of Street Outlaws with Sedusa and Duplin? I mean, do you know if they're going to do any more of those shows? I mean, I know it's probably up in the air, kind of like talked about. I know everyone's focused on MPK because it's like, where are we, 2 months away? It starts in June.
Yep, starts in June.
1st of June. So, I mean, obviously, there's not a whole lot of time for Discovery to be like, oh, let's throw in another small tire street show. I don't know if they would or if they'd have time for it. They might. We won't even know because I mean, it's kind of like everything else. You just get a phone call. It's like, oh shit, saddle up. Let's go shoot some film. So I mean, and that's cool. But I mean, MPK, you get 3 months because it's no MPK can go for. Last time,
it'll go into October.
October,
sure.
Okay. And that's a lot of footage.
So June, no July, August, September, October. So you're talking about 4 or 5 months. I think it'll go a little bit longer this year.
Right.
They're trying to squeeze a bunch of races, 15 races in the season. So they've already announced 10 races. They still got 5 to go.
Yeah.
So
and the first one starts in Ohio.
Yeah. June
3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Second, third.
First weekend of June.
Yeah. Is if the car's ready and everything's.
I'll tell you what though, June we liked that first race. We showed up there last year. It was probably the 4th or 5th race into the season, and that was our first race. And we showed up and we ran Future Class, and there was a lot of hype around the Badfish car from Elite Motorsports.
Yeah,
and we knew we were going to come out and run pretty good. We grudge raced Dave the night before. He's sitting like number 4 or 5 in points that night, and we made a good lick against him, and we knew we had a pretty good hot rod for that track. And we show up first round of future races the next day, and we put Elite Motorsports out with that Badfish car. So there was a lot of hype around that car, so it made us feel like we were headed in the right direction.
I remember the post. The post was funny. Like, sorry, I had to ruin that that debut, Mr. Badfish, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, just
you're talking about some badass track racers against a couple of knucklehead street racers from a very small town,
right?
And just kind of doing our thing." Nothing feels better than that. When you show up and you can race with those guys on that level. That's why we do this.
Well, and everyone loves the underdog story. There's nothing cooler than when you see, some hot shot that's, got, even without, being on MPK races, stuff like that, but someone who just has a lot of money, has been doing it forever, and then someone shows up out of nowhere that's, just barely scraping by, but got enough to build something cool and comes and whoops your ass. Yeah. And then you really don't have an excuse. You're just like, well,
and to be honest,
shit, just lost.
Marty didn't have an excuse. And I thought, oh, fuck, how's this going to go whenever we got to the end of the track? And he said, you made a hell of a lick. We just didn't know, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't put enough in it. And you just drove away.
Yeah.
And I respected that more than him saying, well, we making all these fucking excuses.
Yeah.
He was super cool about it. And we've been cool up to this point. Like, he's a good dude. I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
They were still new to it. They were still learning their program, so they weren't very, I guess, big-headed about it. Whenever they did get beat, they accepted it. They understood that we've been put the work in with it,
right?
So they were cool with it.
Yeah, and that's cool, especially because I see you. Especially, you seem to have, good camaraderie with other tuners and other players in the game, because you've got other racers that'll have like their tuning man, their guy that kind of gives them the, ideas of what they want to do or what they should put into the car. Because you're they're driving it, but you're also sitting there watching it. Yeah. You're watching it squat. You're seeing the geometry of the car, knowing, okay, I need to take some out, put some in, whatever.
Got to watch the tires.
Watch the tires, watch the wheelie, see where it's hitting on the wheelie, and all that shit. They can feel it, but, I've seen so many in-dash camera, videos these guys taking off. And I'm like, if it's that shaky with a GoPro, I can't imagine being in a full helmet, having tunnel vision, and, you get back and you look at your draggy or whatever, and you're like, okay, like, well, how'd it feel? Like, fuck, I don't know. It was 5 seconds, just as fast as I could go. It scared the shit out of me. Like, I wasn't, I don't know, other than what the data shows. What do you think I should do? And that's I feel that's what comes in big with you guys, is y'all have to look at all the data, focus and watch what's happening, and then when it comes back, say, okay, we're gonna try this out.
I really like when we make a pass, come back, I don't tell Damon what it did if I can, or tell him how the tune looks or went until he tells me how the car drove or how he felt it in his ass.
Yeah,
because it's easier to get it off his head instead of him thinking, oh, well, the tune said it did this, I think I felt it do that. If he tells me, then we compare how it went to what the data shows. It's easier to make a correct change.
Yes,
absolutely. So it's just, to me, it feels better that way. So I try to catch him when he's out of the car. What'd it do?
Yeah.
And he'll tell me, it went a little left, 200 foot out. I drove into it, didn't have to pedal it, but it started chattering on the big end. We pull the data up and he'll show what it did. If I feel like if I show him the data, he goes, well, yeah, I think it might have done that. Then we don't know how to correct it. So it's better to get the driver's input before you look at anything.
Right.
That way you know what you're prepared to look for. You can find the problem instead of seeing stuff and having to ask about it.
Right.
Relying on the data 100%, because a lot of times, the data's accurate, but we have learned with Mark, being around as well, he come from a time when there wasn't all this data coming from these computers and everything else.
Yeah.
He can look at a tire and how the tire was reacting and how it's performing up to a certain amount and tell you what it's about to do or what it was doing, and with having both of those, him reading it the way he does and having Mark there a lot of times to tell us how it's doing physically is a big thing. And me in the seat to know, running the car enough now to know how it feels, man, it makes for a killer little trifecta.
Right.
We had a lot of guys telling us, it's the car won't 60 foot that hard with the combo we had. You can't make the car work that good. Car weighs good, it looks good, it performs well, but your combo doesn't make the power to do what you are saying it does.
I know what you're talking about.
So it's hard to prove them or show them what it's doing. Well, then you try to read the data and they go, well, you're looking to shoot at this, point is what I'm looking for a tire, RPM, revolution, or whatever. Then Mark goes, it's slow, speed it up. Well, Bob down the road says we're already on the breaking point of it. You got to throw out everybody else's opinion. A lot of times you got to learn everything off of your car.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go from Damon's car to the guy down the road's car and tune it the exact same way.
Exactly.
It's so different.
We've looked at our best 60, and then you can throw everybody's fucking opinion out the window because it didn't go with anybody's opinion, and we know what it did.
Well, it's also crazy like how you had so many people at Alabama and stuff that were running Fuel Tech. And Luis is just running around fucking tune and
that dude's an animal.
but I know, but it's like it's got it. Even though he's probably nuts upstairs and doesn't. Oh, it's delicious. Have some. You'll love it.
This is about to be bad.
He's gonna be You're gonna be driving home, guaranteed.
So good.
Yeah,
it doesn't taste like moonshine, though, does it? He's like, no, it doesn't.
It tastes like I drank methanol out of the car.
Flavor.
That's gonna be one of those things. We'll be out there driving someday and be like, oh my god, I forgot to get gas. Like, Russell, get the moonshine.
Stocked up on this for MPK.
Yeah, like, how did you win? Like, I had a little shot of something in it. But yeah, you have guys like Lisa run around, doing all this stuff, and it's like there's so many different combos, different types of engines and stuff. But he knows Fuel Tech. He knows how, and like when we were in there with Dave, and he was showing everything on the computer. And Luis is trying to explain it to me and explain it to Dave. Dave's like, I'm so glad I got him. I can't figure this shit out. And it's like, I'm just looking at lines on a graph. And I was like, yeah, I don't get it. But you were sitting there like Damon was like really in tune looking at like this is a lot. Yeah.
You need to.
Well, I mean, someone like you're younger, and stuff. Dave's like, fuck it. I'll let them do it. I'm too old to learn that shit.
Yeah. I mean,
but
I've been grateful this whole time of him. Where he's come from, he's never tuned a car like this, and I've never drove a car like this.
Oh, yeah.
I think it makes for a very unique combination on a couple of guys that are coming in and hungry and learning.
Right.
And it's kind of fucking thrown everybody off. Just you think about this. We've had 2 or 3 of the most notorious guys on the show tell us what our limitations are.
Right.
Telling us that we won't go faster than this. We won't be able to do this. We won't be able to do that. And we have beat those numbers, 2/10?
At least.
Yeah, 2/10. We've went faster than a lot of people that said that our combination ever would be because they've had those combinations and they gave up on it too fast to ever make it. Well, I didn't have the funds. I didn't have the backing. I didn't have the money. I didn't have the sponsorships. To just change what we were fucking doing. So I had to squeeze every bit of it out. And between me and him, we found that.
Yeah.
And I do know that where we ended up at in Tulsa was probably about as fast that car would ever go.
Pretty close.
Pretty fucking close.
Well, it had to be. I mean, it fucking blew up.
To be honest, it didn't blow up.
It didn't. But I mean,
some parts gave.
But the fact of the matter is, how long had you been running that setup?
Fuck, man, we had 250 passes on it the first time, and
Jesus
probably 200
Christ.
passes on the second.
So that's what I mean. You had something that was literally
what gave
built.
up was the casting on the head, not like a parts, not like a bearing, not like a rod or something. The casting on the head came loose, and we know that everything that was on that engine was off the shelf type shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people run these custom one-off type fucking engines, and then they start cookie cutting them because so and so runs it. So they start mass producing these engines that are fucking fast.
Yeah.
And I'll give them that. But everything we had on that first engine was store bought, off the shelf. We didn't even port the heads that came on it.
The same engine too. It was the same thing. It was just new block.
Yeah. The only thing, like I said, same heads, same valves, same springs, same rockers, same pistons, rods, crank.
I had 550 passes on the top end of the motor.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Same blower.
Yeah.
The only time the blower had ever really broke.
Yeah.
Was at this. Was it Kentucky?
I believe so. It caught a rock or something and broke a fin.
No.
Broke
It's
the
an input shaft.
Yeah,
input shaft's the first thing. Now the fins I don't fucking count because we run on some dirty, grimy ass shit.
You
so
can't.
The fins kind of okay. The first time the blower ever broke was Kentucky, and we probably have 700 passes on it from 2022, 2021.
Yeah.
That whole blower is the same, bro.
Wow.
The only thing we changed was the oil on that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And maybe a couple of impellers. But like I said, those don't count.
Yeah.
So everybody dogging Pro Charger because they don't hold up. They don't do this. They don't hold up whenever you fucking overspin them or you're on a Hemi that's trying to turn it 10 grand. And it's, if you don't treat them right, they're probably not going to last.
Well, that's just anything. I mean, if you over rev, if you do, there's so many things that can go wrong. It's like, and they probably tell them it's built for this. Don't do that.
72,000 RPM.
And what do?
Max.
They do that. Yeah. And that's what fucks them up. And then they're just like, whoa, it's fucked up. And, you guys built me a shitty one. Like, no.
But what's funny,
we gave you all the warnings.
What's funny is when nobody ever praised us for running 300 passes on one blower. Yeah. But as soon as it broke, they're going, oh, you have Pro Charger problems too?
Yeah, what a hunk of shit.
No, motherfucker, we have Pro Chargers too. We got to this point where it just fucking gave up, you know? And after, like I said, 600, 700 passes in between there, the input shaft finally said, done. I'm out.
Done, yeah.
So that's about where we were, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get her back. We'll start on the new MPK stuff, and
I'm gonna keep the 121 on the 555.
Okay,
that's the same.
The cast aluminum motor.
Yeah, the cast block. Will still have the 121 on it, because I am 100% a believer in X amount of head. These heads can only do so much. Well, when you start putting bigger blowers on than what the head can produce, it's a waste.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then Billy Schaefer with Pro Charger a long time ago, he don't even work there anymore. Long time ago told me, if you run big block Chevy, 121 is where it's at.
Really?
And you spin it like it's meant to be spun. Mm-hmm. And we've never been outran by a big block Chevy that ran a 136 blower ever.
So what's the significant difference? Is it just the diameter, the 121 to 136, or is it?
So yeah, between the 121 and the 136, it's the inlet and the outlet. And the inlet, well, the heads can only handle so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no big block Chevy out there that can really handle a 136.
The amount of flow.
Until
the
now.
Amount of flow. Okay.
Back a couple of years ago, that was true. Well, fucking heads have progressed and everything else.
Right,
so
right.
Now there's starting to be heads that can do that. That was built for the Hemi head. Well, the Hemi heads have gotten better, so they come out with bigger blowers.
Right.
And everybody throws these 136 on these, these stock heads from Dart and Brodex and everything else on these big block Chevys. They go, well, it don't make the power that these other ones do. Well, we didn't make a fuck ton of power, but we made it work.
Right.
Even when we was at Armageddon, we raced a guy had a Chevelle with a big block Chevy and a 136, and man, he would have bet the fucking house that he was going to outrun us because we ran a smaller blower, and we beat that motherfucker by half track.
Wow,
it wasn't even close, and he was dumbfounded. He could not believe. He even came to me before the race and was like, Why you run such a small blower? I'm like, because I listen to the guys that work at Pro Charger, and this is what they recommended, and I just I want my shit to work together.
Right.
A lot of people don't realize they get lost in the boost number.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to make 40 pounds of boost. Boost isn't a power. Boost is a restriction.
Well, yeah, that too, and also
people do not realize
that. And everyone thinks horsepower. Well, you could get your ass beat off in a car with lesser horsepower. Yeah, I did that. Wow. Get your ass beat off.
But that's what I'm saying. People don't understand that though. They put the big 136 in there and go, "Oh, I'm making 50 pounds of boost now."
Yeah,
I only made 30 pounds of boost with the 121, but the head can only flow what the 121 could produce. It can't flow the 50 pounds. Now you have an extra 20 pounds of restriction in the intake.
Oh, okay.
So now fuel has to disperse through it, and people don't understand that.
Yeah.
That comes from the tuning side of learning stuff, and it's a complicated deal to understand.
When people are just like, more power, it's like, well, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah. It doesn't work that way.
You know, because it's like you said, it's horsepower, weight, and suspension.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's the three big ones you got to get dialed. And if you get them dialed in, your car runs great. You can tweak it a little more here and there, but I mean, once you get that part dialed in,
I'll tell you what,
you got a race car.
Gerald tells us you make every bit of the power that the engine can make.
Yeah.
Make it all, and then make your car work around that.
Right.
And yeah, you gotta, but that's the tricky part.
Right.
You know,
just trying to get people to understand too, because like you said, how many people you'll see them next year and they've got a whole different combo. And like, what happened with what you had? Like, oh, I wasn't fast enough, or I wasn't winning enough races. Like, well, did you try to like?
I can't tell
pin it down and make sure you weren't at fault. Like maybe that car could have gone. Nah, I just fucked the whole thing.
I can't tell you how many times we were at MPK last year and we knew some people needed to make a bar change to make the car work or something, and they just weren't fucking doing it. They were just wanting to tune their cars down to make the car work. No, this track's completely different. You need to make a bar change. You can throw all the fucking power on it and go. And it wasn't happening. So, you know, you just see some of that. And you got to be willing to make those changes. You got to be in your head to know that you're confident enough to do that. And you got to get people around you that is confident enough to do that.
Right.
I mean? And that's...
He's got to be able to drive the car knowing we gave him a good car to drive.
Yeah.
Yes. And then...
If you listen to NASCAR racers and shit, you listen to those races... Man, it's 100% how confident, you know, the guy in the car is complaining that it's doing this and that. And they come in for their pit stops and they make the adjustments. And he's 100% confident that when he goes out, they made those adjustments and this is what it's doing. It's no different.
Right.
We're no different than that. It's just lasts only 4 seconds instead of 4 hours. So, I mean, these guys, who you have around you is a big asset for you.
Right.
You know, you trust them 100%.
That's why I miss the NASCAR of the 80s, because it seemed like every time those guys would come into pit, or if they won the race or whatever, they go up and talk to him. Every one of those drivers sound like they were on cocaine. I mean, just so much adrenaline, and they're talking about everything, and you can't understand anything they're saying. Well, for me, because I just wasn't, you know, they would talk about their engine, this, that, and the other, and they'd be naming off everything that was going on, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. Monster truck drivers, same way.
Did you watch the UFC, the deal that I posted on my story?
Yeah.
Ariel, Sonya, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, did you watch his off of my story? Because he's like, if you fucking are dreaming and you're going towards it, like, do it. Because when you get to that point where people are basically on that cloud 9, you hope people feel that one of these days.
Right.
And there's nothing. Maybe we didn't win a whole, race, but you beat people that you're not supposed to beat, like the elite the elite motorsports and all that. You feel that. Like, you're not supposed to beat those people. Guys like us are not supposed to beat those people.
No.
And when it happens, it's fucking. Now I got beat by another guy the next round.
Yeah.
But it was worth it to me to fucking come up and beat somebody that I wasn't supposed to beat.
Exactly. And that's got to be the best part about anything, is, like I said, just going back to the whole underdog thing, to be able to, one time be like, well, I mean, you've done it before, even with just the street outlaw stuff. And you're like, and there was that time I beat Lutz, and you're like, whoa. Yeah. But it happens.
Lutz was a top contender whenever we came into this deal.
Yeah.
And, I've told people before, like, we tested our ass off at our very first race to get any edge we could against Kamikaze, and he wrecked, and a lot of people didn't see a lot of that, but we worked our ass off to get ourselves into that position,
right?
And then we raced, Ryan, and came up just a little bit short. I mean, we raced Monza, which was a heavy hitter and very, he's number 2 on the list. We come up literally a bumper short. Like, we're racing these guys within. We raced Lutz and end up beating him a couple times, and he's a top dog on that list. And we we're doing things that people just didn't think that we were going to be capable of
Right.
doing.
I think a lot of people thought, you were going to get on the show and just basically get your ass handed to you. And
I was with them.
Yeah, yeah. And
I didn't say no because I knew at one point in time, if you said no, you weren't going to get back on.
But they thought you were just going to like wash the fuck out. And it's like you saw all the races and you were always like at the bottom of the list trying to work your way up. But like you said, you would see all those races and you could see the other guys that were racing. You're like, we're not,
they weren't us.
We're not blowing his doors off. He's right on our asses. So that lets you know that he's contending, and he's going to get better and faster.
That was the difference between them bringing anybody else on and bringing us on, is they weren't us.
No.
We were willing to stay out there and make 12 hits on one street in one night.
Yeah.
Like, cars at that level don't fucking do that. You're not supposed to do that with cars like ours.
Right.
And we were willing to do that for our opportunity to get on and prove ourselves that we
deserve the right to
deserve it. Yeah. That's us.
Well, the first time
they weren't going to get anybody to fucking outwork us.
True. And I didn't realize how, the thing was the first time that I filmed you guys, and this was during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to go test.
Yeah.
And I had to do
that's getting
pictures.
Ready for Kansas City.
Yeah. And the thing was, it's like I'd see the car come in, headlights off, whip in somewhere, and then it was fans and hood up, and Craig's on the computer, and you're looking at the data. But I mean, everything you're like, I was like, what are y'all doing? They're like, oh, we got to cool the car off. We're making another pass. And I was like, okay. I was like, hell, I thought that was it. I thought you were going to throw it
quarter mile outside of the town.
No. They're like, no, we're going to make some more. And it was just phone calls back and forth.
Until a cop comes, we're here.
There ain't nobody coming. And that last pass was my favorite, the one before I left, because y'all stayed and tested some more. But I remember I had Cadence, and she was little, and we were watching. She had her earmuffs on, and you made that pass, and we saw you go down. I was like, okay, it's about to turn around. Right before you went to turn around, boom, unmarked Tahoe flew by, and we're like, oh, fuck, this is not good. Yeah. And I guess he missed you because you made that U and hit your lights. Yeah. And he just kept going. Yeah. And you got back, and I was like, okay, we'll just put it up. And you're like, hell no, he didn't catch me.
Did you have me on the radio then? Yeah, he told me a cop was coming.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Fucking, it could have been real bad, but they didn't see a bright white, pearl white car sitting in the complete dark.
But you got to remember too, if you look back at those photos, that it was kind of like humid, so it was really hazy. And I couldn't believe you were hauling ass down there with it being like that, because everything was kind of wet and sticky, and the road was good, but it was just really funny because I thought after that lick, it was like, all right, let's load it up. And you're like, nah, wait about 15 minutes. I was like, I'm going home.
We're not the smartest, bro.
You got to test.
But the next day on Facebook, the greatest thing was like, hey, who else heard something crazy? It sounded like bombs going off all night. I like it. Like, yeah.
Well, we made 4 or 5 licks that night.
Yeah.
And we're literally a quarter mile outside town. We had people calling us 7 miles away saying, hey, are you guys testing? We're on the back porch drinking beer and we hear y'all. And fucking no shit out here by the Ninnekah flashing lights.
Yeah.
Who was it?
It's the other side. It's Amber. It's Brian on the other side of Amber.
Yeah.
I mean, way out there.
Yeah.
That thing is not,
Yeah. We got home, went straight to bed, but I bet you if I went out on my back porch where we're sitting at right now, I probably could have heard it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because that's a straight shot through Norwich, everything. I would have heard that
Crows
echo coming through the valleys. Yeah.
Damn, that thing's brutal.
Oh, and I still think another one of my favorites is all the videos I took, especially when we were at Wichita. When I did the first video for you, and there was guys at the line, and Damon was getting ready, and he just and goes by, and everyone just, because they did have their hands in their they had their hands in their pockets, thinking, and he goes by, and everyone did that. God damn, like turn. It's like, and even the announcers like, God, that car's loud. Like, I mean, it really. There's something about that big block, and just I don't know, and
I almost say I'm ready to hear this 136, but I almost think it's that 121 blower, because Shane, what's his name?
McClendon.
Yeah. That had the Blackbird Vega. His fucking car is super loud.
Yeah.
And it's got a 121 with a small block on it.
Really?
I don't know what the difference may or may not be, but damn, them things are just it's violent.
Yeah. Well, I've only heard a couple, and being this last year, it was the greatest thing to walk up there and Nancy to be able to hand me a all access pass. Like, you can go to the front line and shoot everybody. I was like, holy shit.
Fuck, give me some earmuffs.
Oh, I didn't have any fucking earplugs. So I think my cousin E finally gave me some because she had a whole. But I was up there and I would shoot, and as soon as it would take off, I do the. And even with my fingers in my ear, the compression.
Oh, yeah.
I would go, oh, my God.
I held Dave's car one night, and I don't even know where it was. I thought I had ear damage.
Nope.
Like,
you didn't know earplugs or nothing?
No.
Oh, you just held it on.
You
held it on a burnout and just said, fuck it?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was a bad night. It was at Okima, I think. And I thought we did some damage to my ears. Like, I was kind of scared. It was bad.
Have you ever had one of those where it goes by and you really feel like it almost feels like something inside you? Always something inside your ear feels like it almost feels like when you're driving up Mount Scott and you feel that pop and you're like,
I thought
that can't. Well, they say that's possibly a ruptured eardrum, and if you feel that. With that, like, gunshots, compression.
I kept checking to see if it was bleeding and shit. It wasn't. But he's always got he's got earmuffs on so he can talk to me.
Right.
But, man, I did it just out of stupidity and grabbing it, and I didn't think too much.
Do the old Jake Lloyd, like his face when he's holding the side of the car.
Yeah, Jake,
oh, dude. Yeah, that comment.
Between the noise and the mouth getting sprayed in his face.
Well, it was funny because I cropped it to see his face, and he was like his face is stretched across, and he's like, "Oh yeah, when you get a good hit of that meth." I was like, "Yeah," he said, "It'll get you every time." Like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's rough.
But it's just, and I get it now because just wanting to come and check it out, take pictures, but the smells, the everything about racing, it's amazing how overwhelming it can be.
What's fucking nuts is we had that car at that time.
Yeah.
And think about how little we knew.
Oh, yeah.
You know? We didn't, compared to now, we didn't know shit about that car.
Right.
We like took it to Fuel Tech, made some power with it, and we started making hits about it. We never relied on traction control or anything.
Have traction control.
Didn't even have it. We had fucking no idea how to turn it on. The time we turned it on is we went and tested. We made 12 hits on the street. Correct? 12 hits on the street.
With traction?
With let me tell you, a shitty street at Hartshorn. And everything didn't go fucking perfectly. We did make a couple of good, fast passes on it. We get back to the hotel room in McAllister. He stays up another 3 hours trying to figure out how to turn on traction control to lay it over those good passes that we made without it. And that's when we started kind of using it as a safety net.
Right.
And before then,
we'd never used it.
We've never fucking used it. And we won a lot of fucking races without it.
Wow.
We've always just fucking used it for a safety net at this point.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people rely on it to make it down a street, and we've never been able to do that.
Is that basically like, so you say safety nets, like if you drive down and you either if you make a pass or even if you don't, if you're just walking it going, this road fucking sucks. This road's going to put someone in the ditch.
I mean, when I tell you
that's whenever you decide that at that point it's like traction control or not, or make a pass and see how it handles, then turn it on.
When I tell you we made 12 passes down the street, 8 of them sucked. Yeah.
Okay.
So we made 2 good ones in the left lane. We made 2 good ones in the right lane.
And all the rest of them sucked ass.
And all the rest of them, we got down, but I didn't die,
Right.
out of a full 8
we didn't lose the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the full 8th mile pass, we'd probably went 500 foot good 3 or 4 times. With a little pedal, or he had to lift and drive it and then roll back in the throttle, whatever you want to call it. And then
we didn't want to rely on that though.
Yeah.
Right. We want to fucking make it down without pedaling the car, because we came the night before. Everybody was pedaling the cars.
Right.
And they were all over the road, left, right. They couldn't go straight. So that's why I told them. So we need to go straight as possible. So I'm going to try to learn traction control. He went to sleep that way, and we had to get up the next day and race.
Yeah.
He had been driving back and forth to work for 3 days.
Jesus Christ.
We're stupid.
Yeah. We were trying to figure out how to make it work. I mean, we wanted our shot at it. We had been doing just basically educated guesses at the timing curves, and they were working, but everybody kept using traction control to go down the road, and you could hear it killing the motor, killing the car. It'd slow it down. It would get unhappy, and then it would put power back in it when the tire caught, and that's why it's driving them left and right. They're all over the road. So we had decent past data, but it wasn't making the full trip. So I stayed up, read on it, learned it, put it in, activated it. We decided, let's go ahead and attempt to try it. Our first night debut on the TV show.
Yeah.
And the car went straight as an arrow, made a perfect pass, hauled ass. But
did it kind of blow your mind, like the first pass, like, or was it?
I knew it.
Huh?
I knew it. I knew it was going to go straight down.
But that's what I'm saying. But compared to the night before testing and then making that first pass with traction,
we made one in the left lane perfect, and we made beat on the right lane for a little bit, which everybody was having trouble with.
Yeah.
We made one in it almost perfect, and I knew, like, if he overlaid traction control over those 2 passes,
yes,
there wasn't nobody out there gonna fuck with us.
Right.
We call it traction control, but we don't use it as a traction control as like a modern day car. You drive down the road, the tire slips, it kills your car.
Yeah.
Use it more as a band-aid to where the car doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
You can turn that thing to kill the car completely, 10 or 15 degrees, or you can pull it down to 1 degree. 1 degree doesn't do a lot, but we had went in, tickled it just enough to where if it did need it, it would barely touch it. And if I remember right, he used it just a smidge, but not very much. But he made the whole entire trip all the way down.
100%
hauled ass wide open the whole way. And that's what we needed. And ever since then, we've learned how to use it and how to work it. And you can't go to a road and go, this is real shitty, let's turn it way down. Because the guy next to you might just drive the car harder.
Yeah.
So you've really got to guess how much, I guess, traction control to turn on is the best way to put it. How aggressive you want to turn the car
it in the
down.
head.
So the more aggressive the traction control, it can actually kind of bog down your car.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you go too crazy with it because you're afraid of the road, you might lose a lot of power.
Yes.
It'll run like shit.
So that's got to be
which ain't good on the engine as well.
No, and that's got to be a tough move to make too, is because like walking it or looking at it and going, well, I don't know. Like
that's why
do we just test it without traction control to see what it's going to do and hope to God we don't wreck this car, or do we just turn it up to like 2 and see what happens?
Sometimes you can't test though. You're there on race night. Shit. You don't get the test.
That's what's tricky about this, and that's why you need to really know if you're the first one up or the 8th one up or the 12th one up. Because you don't know how good the road's going to get.
That's got to be such a ball buster being the first guy out there. Because everyone's watching.
Some people love it.
Oh no, I'm sure.
And
there's got to be guys that love to be the icebreaker. Yeah. But and two, you go out there and you're.
Joey's also got that crutch that go, I was the first one down. So fuck. You know what I mean? There's always that.
Yeah, you can always say that. Like I was the guy that drew that chip, so I went first.
Sometimes being first, you get the advantage of there's no goop on the road.
Yeah.
You don't have 10 different guys doing burnouts, messing the road
fucked it up for you.
Yeah. It's a fresh road, so you have what you have tested on. God knows where you tested at, but you tested on a fresh virgin road. Now you're at a fresh virgin road. You're not guessing what it'll do. You know the problem is what's it going to do 300 foot out. You've never been there before.
Right.
That's where you got to really guess what it's going to do.
And how much, like, in a a way to answer a dumbass guy's question like me, how much rubber does it get to a point where you're like, this road's done? Or do you have to just adjust to it?
Yeah, there's no such thing as too much rubber on the road. It starts getting, if you mix too many chemicals to do burnouts, it starts getting gooey. If every guy did water all night, every night, it would get like a racetrack.
Okay.
It would just be rubber on top of itself and be sticky. Once you start doing so much goop, pimp juice, devil's glue, whatever, they mix with each other and they start getting a little weird compound to them.
Yeah.
So some guys will go up and they don't use anything for a burnout. But a big old huge 16-inch wide tire won't do a very good burnout without some stuff to get it spinning.
Yeah.
So now you've sacrificed a good hot burnout for your tire, so it will bite on the line, but now it's not going to drive good out back because the tire's cold.
Man, I've had some of that shit slung all over my legs too. That stuff burns.
Shit,
yeah, I didn't even thing that sucked. I was in Elk City. I remember coming back the next time and my legs were shaved.
Yep.
Like, well, you couldn't get off. Like, no, like, and they said you could use WD-40 or something. Would have took it right off. I was like, well, shit, I tried everything I could think of. I was in here like I figured. I had a rag. I had a rag with choke carburetor cleaner. All it did was burn the shit out of my skin. So I just fucking.
That pimp juice is some wild.
Oh, that's some
shit.
Yeah,
but they got that shit down to a science.
Sure. No, they really do. It's some good stuff. I think that's what you slung all over me when I was standing behind Sedusa. God damn, never again. I thought I was in a good spot, but I wasn't.
Yeah. The thing is, people get hung up on what works best for what. I think if you stick with something and make your car work around that, then you're better off.
There's a couple of them every now and then. It's not brand specific, but
I think it's weather.
Yeah. Some guys, they mix it. It's got a chemical in it, It's got a breakdown additive. That's what it does. It pulls the tire rubber out of it.
MEK.
Yeah.
MEK, yeah.
And some guys use a little more, some don't. So if it's humid and cold outside, it does a little different than other guys.
Right.
So that's every now and then we'll use 2 or 3 different kinds, but we normally stick to just one kind year round unless we go somewhere and it's a blacktop road or it's way moist outside or something like that. And you got to know what you're using. I mean, that's part of testing.
Is there a specific time or I guess condition that you would want to use nothing but water? Or is that just
if everybody else is using nothing but water,
you don't want to use it yet? Okay,
yeah, you don't.
So is that kind of like an agreement? Is that kind of like agreement if you guys come to the track and someone's like, "Hey, I don't have any pimp juice," and so most guys will be like, "Okay."
Didn't we do that one time this year?
Yeah,
everybody used water.
Yep.
I thought so.
Really?
On the street show.
What do you feel like there's any advantage to it, or I mean, I
like water when everybody uses water.
Really,
concrete will get way stickier with water only.
Yeah.
Really,
100%.
Okay.
Asphalt,
so like that road, because that road in
Elk City,
and the one here in Chickasha, that wasn't
the one in Chickasha was coming up.
That was but that's
every fucking burnout. It was coming up with the burnout.
The concrete was?
Asphalt.
But hell, that thing's been sitting there for decades.
The problem with it is it's never been traveled, so it's never been packed.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's been laid, I think, for 12 years and no traffic on it.
And I don't know how many times they went out there with, of course, we had a real dry summer, but they would blow it and try to clean it off, and then the cars would go. And you hear people in the background while they're feeling, God damn, I got so much dirt in my eyes.
Stand behind a car there. It fucking throw rocks all over you.
Rocks and dirt in your eyes. It was dusty the whole time. Yeah, it was a rough road.
It was a fun road.
Yeah, it was fun. But
well, we definitely need to put on a race there. This summer, we definitely need to put a race on there.
Yeah, we got some people around here we can talk to.
There's a lot that's going to come from a lot of places to come race there. Knowing that it was a place that we filmed at and it's going to be a street that we use.
Yeah.
A lot of fucking people want to be there.
You got to get some rich guy to buy it and be like, all right.
It's city owned, bro.
I know.
City owned.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Get some.
Go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Without getting caught.
Fuck those cops.
Half of them be like, all right, just be quiet. Get as quiet as you can.
Send them some hush money.
Yeah, turn your cars on eco mode.
I ain't heard nobody. There ain't nobody out there.
There ain't no insurance on it. It's like it's what it should be. It's like you want to race here. Like here's a waiver. Sign the waiver. We don't care what happens. You bust yourself up, you blow your car up, you start a fire, you're responsible. Like fine.
Keith Caraway lives he's probably the closest person that lives to it.
Yeah.
And if he don't bitch, which he's a drag racer himself, if he don't bitch, then I think we're good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Do a little meet and greet at Legends.
Yeah.
And
go down there,
roll out there and start racing.
Yeah. People at the airport might be like, damn it. I listen to this shit all night until 4 a.m.
They'll live.
They'll live. They'll be fine with it. Oh, so what else do you got as far as? Like,
I mean, we've.
I mean, as far as do you see yourself doing any kind of mom and pop stuff? I mean, I know there's been some. I know that you're, obviously, Seduce is not 100% yet.
We got a dyno day next week with it. And
okay, so
I think we'll get it lined down. We've got a meet and greet and appearance to do in Iowa. The first month of May. Once we get that done, it's going to be balls to the wall as far as testing Rogue. We'll have Rogue done by then, have it dynoed and going on it. And we'll probably have seducing just about anything that we can kind of get into.
Right.
If I'm driving it or Craig's driving it or somebody, we're going to have that fucker at everything.
Right.
That's a fast car.
It is. It's a contender.
And I 100% think we would have won race wars with it if we wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah.
That's kind of on us as a learning curve.
Right.
But, and maybe the build, we found out the rings probably weren't the exact ones that we needed in it.
Oh,
really? A lot of learning curves of that.
Oh.
And, yeah, it's just shit like that. You start doing shit you never done before. I've never even rode in a fucking car with a Coyote motor in it. Yeah. No, he's definitely never tuned one.
No, that's what he was talking.
Some small block Fords, but not a Coyote motor. They're weird.
I still can't figure out, because that's what everyone always says whenever they'll pop a hood and look at one, and they just go, God damn, that engine is all heads. It's still the same.
It's huge. I'm like, No, it's really not.
They're like the block is the same. The engine or the heads are like twice the size they should be. They're super wide.
Pound for pound, that's the baddest motor on the planet. Yeah. I would guarantee. Would you? Yeah, pound for pound, that's a bad motherfucker.
But everyone, and, it's like even Sean said when we were at Dave's that one day. Everyone was joking about exhaust, and he's like, "Come listen to my truck. I've got this professionally tuned exhaust. It sounds like dog shit."
Yeah.
He's like, "I cannot find,
They're raspy."
Yeah, he said, "I cannot find anything." I think he's tried 2 or 3 different exhausts. Everyone's tried a different exhaust, and they're like, at the end, even if you get them tuned right, they just don't have that sound that you're used to for most V8s
they're not
and
push
stuff.
rod motor, that's for sure.
No. But I mean,
they're damn sure not dumpling. I'll tell you
yeah.
That. Big block Chevy,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
That's Damon's go-to. Big
God,
block Chevy.
man.
Goddamn big block Chevy.
You ain't got a BBC. You ain't got shit.
That's the greatest part about it. It's just the fact that you've stayed with that combo. You love the big block Chevys, and the thing is, you're following the people that watch you. Your fans. Most of them, are those. They're just like us. They're just redneck, white trash,
fucking blue collar people.
But I mean, they're like our
I'll
kind
take
of people.
them.
Yeah, no, they are. They're good. They're
Buy
good
a T-shirt,
people.
I'll take them.
Yeah, because they're they see that car and it's always, oh hell, my uncle used to have one of those damn
fucking
things.
4-speed. Who doesn't know about a fucking 4-speed?
Well, all of them, and that's another thing too. The comment section was like, he's the only dude out there banging gears.
Yeah.
And just murdering that transmission.
When
you knew you were
compared
hurting
to, oh fuck yeah, it's already hurt. When you compare to Grumpy Jenkins in anything, that's a huge deal for somebody in the racing world. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
But what they don't understand is that's all I had at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have borrowed one of our buddies' pickups to do it, but fuck, I hate borrowing people's shit.
It's fun to and that's another thing I realized too. Learning more about racing, reading some of the old articles and stuff. They'd say car owned by so and so, driven by this badass driver, and it's not a bad thing. I mean, if you're a badass driver, you're like, put me in anything, I'll beat the shit out of anybody in it. But still, like to be able to own, to say that I'm not just a driver. I own these vehicles.
My biggest problem with that,
yeah, is
the fact that. How we do it, I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's shit. Like I barely motherfucking afford the shit that I'm doing now. I don't want to be able to have to fix somebody else's shit if we hurt it or fuck it up or something. Like if I break something, I hope it's mine. You know what I mean? Like and to have Steve and Brian on board with the Mustang and shit, that's a huge deal for us. And it's a very slippery slope as far as the Mustang is not mine,
right?
But those people are my neighbors. They're close. We've developed this relationship and this partnership that I can race that car and just like it's mine. Yeah, and everybody's good with it.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
it's fast,
and you took the liberty too. You got to remember, it's not like it was just handed to you with the keys. I mean, you've done a lot of work to that car to make it, to make it where it is now.
No. Yeah, we put a lot of money into that. We put a lot of work into that. Yeah. Craig put a fuckload of work in it.
A lot of time.
Craig took it to Iowa and stayed up there for two weeks with it.
Yeah,
stayed up there for 2 weeks.
Yeah,
fucking making sure that this is, I couldn't do it because of work. He was in a position where he could go with it. And he lived with that thing for 2 weeks to make sure it was capable of competing. And we knew what kind of cars we were going to end up racing against.
Right.
We were under the microscope more than anybody we raced under the rules.
Yeah.
Quote, rules. And, we
brought what fit.
Yeah.
What was allowed to be there.
Right.
Fucking right at what we fit.
But we were on that edge. So
I really 100% still think it was the fastest car out there up to the point where it wasn't happy anymore. And we fucking, fixed it from there. And I think when we go back out next season, it'll be the fastest car out there.
Right. Yeah. I had so many people writing me like, and I don't think they understood because they're all like, who let that fucking Honda in? I was like, dude, that's a long story.
We all knew we fucked up on that
Honda. I said that was a team effort of going, sure, you can race. And then they were like, well, we can't say no now. So
that Honda is a very
It's a very unique car.
Unique's a good word for it. He's nationwide known in the Honda communities for, I would say, at least 10 plus years.
Yeah.
He's been to lots of events for racing that car.
Yeah.
Not driving it around town, not enjoying it. It can do that, but he is known for racing his race car.
Yeah.
Has a cage and all stuff. There's nothing wrong with him bringing it and what he did with us, but it's not a car that he has actually drove around and enjoyed on weekends.
Right.
We built our car, big fuel cell, big radiator, overdrive transmission to drive on weekends and race this event. It fit the rules 100%. Few of the guys that come to that deal for what we just did, it was more race car that they could drive.
Yes.
Not drivable race cars.
Yes.
It's a big gray area there, and you really got to look at it with an open mind to understand race car versus drivable race car. And
the argument kept going too. It's like, if you were to say that, well, then someone would say, well, what about all you guys in these so-called Sunday evening cars that got trans brakes and shit in them? And you plug them into computers. And I'm like, well, and I can see that. I can see, and that's where it was like, we can't go and do this because we let this guy in or we did this. So
the problem was we let him in the first night to race, and then it looked like we'd be cherry picking if we didn't do it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let him in. The problem was we couldn't take him out in the first couple of rounds with anybody, and he got faster and faster and faster. You know, and that's just what it was. And they're good people, and they got a fucking handle on that car. They've been racing it for 10 years.
That's what he was telling me about. 10 years now.
And we hadn't been.
Yeah.
You give us a little bit of time with that car.
Oh, yeah.
I'd fucking race him right now in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. And he'd want you to. I'm sure. Everyone's always looking. Yeah. I think that, the greatest thing about it is, like, there's no, like, you get your moment, when you might kick somebody's ass.
He capitalized on it, man.
Yeah,
he capitalized
and he did, but he's probably sitting there thinking, oh, shit, now they're coming for me. Yeah. But he's like happy about it too. Like, oh yeah, it's like it's gonna be, win or lose, I'm gonna get some more time. I'm gonna get a lot of people like, oh, but I'll beat your ass in that car. Bring it a line. Let's find out. That's all I do is race.
I mean, we know how fast this car was. It's a quick car. It run really good. Him and Doc were within an inch, 2 inches. I mean, bumper to bumper, what they call the finish line photo.
Yeah.
We know how fast Doc's car was. It's a quick car. But at the end of the day, I mean, cars were only so quick on that road. Yeah. His car can go way faster than that. It's a known race car on tracks.
Yeah.
So his car was slow compared to what it can do. A different road, different circumstances. All of our guys were running what we could run, basically. Within a tenth or two.
Right.
He was probably 4/10 off his fastest time ever. So his car could be a lot faster, but the road is the equalizer. It's part of street racing. So that's the downfall, I guess, of bringing a full-blown race car. What I would call it. It's not something he actually hops in and goes and gets a soda pop or something.
No.
All of our guys, and for the most part, everybody we raced all year long was street drivable cars. I mean, yes, he can drive his car, but his car was built to go race it.
Right.
Then he got picked to bring it and race against us. They didn't say, hey, Aaron, is his name. Aaron drives his car all the time. Bring it down here and race us. They said, hey, Aaron's got a really fast car that fits the rules. Bring him down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
speaking of photo finish, hey, Discovery, you think you could put a tiny bit more money into your photo finish cameras? That was
the drama.
Oh my God.
Bro, we got sucked into that with the Monza and me a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Chief and Monza. Like, there was the blurriest fucking photo finishes ever.
There's two guys on YouTube called the slow-mo guys that have got cameras that can go down to like 1/23,000th of a second.
Fucking iPhone cam, bro. Like most street races use iPhones.
In dark, I've seen some great photos with the iPhones as far as photo finishes. Like, what the shit?
I'm good. I don't want no more of that. I'll take this.
Your eyes sure are getting red.
Oh, fuck 'em.
He's like, it's just allergies. I'm not an alcoholic.
Do you have glaucoma?
It's springtime in Oklahoma.
Glaucoma. Oh, yeah. It's like, got glaucoma. Got to go get my weed card.
Does your dog have glaucoma too?
So what's the story on the damn Ranger, man?
Man, it's slow going. It's sitting. Just kind of gathering up parts for it. I've got a few things bought and ordered for it, but it's more of I can bolt one or two things on and it's going to sit. So I'm trying to get a bunch of parts gathered up to do a big hit. I don't
know
want to put
what
one
ones.
little thing on it every 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff to where I can make a big step to it, to where once I do it, I see the progress. I'm happier with it. Whenever, you know, I don't know.
I've got a stacker that we can put both of them in.
Yeah.
That's we got it on deck.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I want to see progress to it.
Right.
You know, you lose interest whenever you bolt one thing on every few weeks.
Oh,
We got fucking 4 other projects going.
Yeah.
It's kind of
we got the Mustang, we got the Camaro in the works, we got his truck in the works, he's got a Razor in the works. Like there's
Short
always
ride.
something.
Yeah.
We're
Mowing
neighbors.
yards.
We're neighbors, so there's no shortage of bullshit going on all the time.
Yeah, that's kind of what I worry about getting sucked into, because I'm sitting there thinking about all the shit I got to do this Cadillac, and I'm on Marketplace looking at like a 1956 Cadillac, a 1957. I X that shit off.
That's what I tell him. Like, quit looking at things.
Yeah.
Quit looking at things.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to look now either, because like I was telling Damon the other day, I just got hit with taxes and they were bad.
They were rough.
Man, I made some good money last year, but the problem with COVID was it taught me, because I had such a rough year in COVID and in the year after, that I kept my expenses really low.
Yeah.
I worked really hard at, staying at cheaper motels, everything I could do. I quit eating out. I started buying groceries every week. Well, that flooded into 2022, and my income ratio to my
spending ratio
was huge. Yeah. And they were like, it's going to be about double what it was last year. I was like, no way.
They showed how much advertisement he did. I mean, Rogue always can do some advertising.
Yeah. But like we taught, I think I can only write off so much that advertising.
That's true.
So I think I'd rather just, keep my money and give a third of it to Uncle Sam. So
once
I get that taken care of, which will probably be in about 5 months.
Yeah. On that deal.
Well, the thing is I keep bitching about it, but it's the truth. It's like I look back at like how much debt and tax debt my dad left me after he died, and it was just like I did not see any light at the end of the tunnel. I really didn't, and we finally got there.
I was gonna say, but I
had to put my shit on hold.
Yeah.
So all my taxes, like I've been making payments on, but they're building up, and I'm like, let me get this one knocked out, and I swear every red cent I got will go to this one, and I'll be caught up in about a year. So that way, you can start doing, like my dream was to start paying quarterlies like I'm supposed to, but I haven't been able to just because of all the shit that Dad left behind. But
adulting sucks.
Oh, adulting, yeah, that's it makes me feel so good, because you see a kid that loses a toy or accidentally lets a balloon go, and you see them fall to their knees just like out of a war movie, like no. They think it's the end of the world. I'm like, bro, I would love to know what that feels like. I'd let every balloon go. Like, it does not bother me. You just got to tell them it's not that bad.
Enjoy it. Watch them fucking go.
Yeah, it's like it just same way like a teenage kid who thinks his world's over because his girl dumped him. Like, bro,
I felt that way wrecking the car.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
you see my
yeah.
face. Like when it
yeah.
started happening, it was like in slow mo, and I'm like, fuck.
It's over with.
Bro, there's nothing you can do. It's like being in the fucking being on ice.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah. Oh, man, being on ice is some scary shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, being on ice, or like I guess it was earlier this year, I was working I was working in Canadian County, and I was on some of these back roads, and dude, it had rained, and it was just that top snot, on those dirt roads.
Oh, yeah.
And I, like an idiot, I see it, and I'm like, it looks good. There's nobody's driven down it.
I can floor it.
Yeah. No, I'm just cruising down it, and a truck just starts, and I hear the mud just flapping everywhere, and my 3/4 ton just starting to slide sideways. I throw it into 4-wheel drive, and I literally drive at an angle for a mile until I hit some gravel. But there are like 4-foot bar ditches on both sides, and I'm thinking, if I hit,
fucked on this deal,
and no one's gonna come get me. I mean, a track hoe or something, backhoe, something like that can go get me. But if I slide, and that's just that scary thought where you're, when you drive through mud and the steering wheel's just going left and right, and you're just trying to angle
track that bitch in there. Yeah.
Oh, God. And I don't know what it is about an extended cab or a 4-door long bed truck they do not do worth a shit in mud. I mean, like, your dually probably the
You
same
got all
way.
that wheelbase though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
You'd think, okay, I'll be
You'd probably be in a short wide. You'd be really fucked at that point.
I think I've had more luck in my short wide. I think that thing's geared weird because it does. It just goes sideways. Oh shit!
I gotta think all we got really coming up,
Mm-hmm.
other than getting the Mustang ready and getting Rogue ready, is the races themselves.
Yeah.
Once we get that going, I think it's gonna be balls at the wall. I think we're gonna be a top contender from the get go.
Oh yeah, yeah. Gotta get that mentality going too.
And the thing is, I don't even like. I think with the rules coming out and the way we've always been running the car, I think they've kind of fit us a little bit more with it.
Right.
And I think they're going to have a lot of fucking problems anytime they race us.
Right.
Like, even the guys that have been there a long time. Like, what people don't realize and just watch the show is we've no prepped quite a bit.
Right.
The first one we went to, the only reason that we went out so quickly was because I red lit.
Yeah.
I ran over Craig's foot.
Yeah.
And fucked a whole lot of shit up, and I red lit. Okay. The second one we go all the way to the finals out of probably 30 something cars. And we were at Cody. What's his name? Cody.
Where?
Ennis. Or not Ennis. I'm sorry. Odessa. Cody. God damn. What's his name? Cody.
Now you can't remember either?
Shake and Bake.
Oh,
Cody
yeah.
Baker.
He retired, didn't he?
There's something going on there. The fucking second no prep we ever go to.
Yeah.
Every car is in a semi, truck, trailer, blah, blah, blah.
Stacker.
We went in a pickup and a fucking
flatbed
32-foot enclosed trailer.
Wow.
We made it all the way to the finals, probably 30 cars into that deal. Nobody thought we were going to. Yeah, we went ahead and went to the finals in that deal. I did lose. That's his home track. He was fast there, and I think I even fucked up and went through the beams or something. Something kind of crazy happened.
Wow.
And staged deep.
Yeah, I staged deep, and then it just rolled through.
I got you.
When I got on the brake, it went on through. I staged so deep that when I got on the brake, it like pushed through. It was a rookie fucking mistake, and you learn from that.
Right.
And then ever since then, we had real good showing at the last Armageddon that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't, if they don't watch the shows, they don't realize how good at no preps that we've done in the past.
Right.
And last Armageddon they have, quite a few cars showed up. Ryan beat me out in the semifinals. There was only 3 cars left. It was me, Kayla, and Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
And we got beat out there.
I won't say we lost because Ryan beat us. We lost because we broke the rear end the round before.
Yeah.
And we snapped the ring and pinion.
We
struggled for 40 minutes to put a whole new rear third member in.
Yeah.
Reset everything up, and our rear drive shaft controller wouldn't work. So we didn't have traction control. The track was slippery on the top end. Do it already set in. Ryan beat us. I mean, clearly his car's fast. But if we would have had that, it would have been a lot better showing. So, I mean, we still might have lost, but it would have been, I think he beat us by like 3 cars because Damon made it about 400 or 500 foot and slid almost
hard right.
Yeah, slid hard because just too much power out back.
Wow.
We were throwing everything and we could at it then. Yeah. We knew we were racing Ryan, and we knew we was going to throw the fucking wood to it. So we did, and the car went right, and that was the end of our night there. But it showed that we knew what we were doing, no prepping, that's for sure. So it isn't like we're showing up not knowing what we know, what we're doing.
And then we've ran the 34.5 for 3 years now. Everybody has to go down to a 34.5. They've had 36s on there. 36 is kind of a crutch if you don't know how to work your car the first 60 foot.
Really?
Yeah. It gives you get after them harder with 36.
That just doesn't make. So is that the width or is that the height? The height of the?
It's the height of the tire, but it's the contact. How much they got on the ground?
Yes.
So if you lose a little bit of contact,
the rollout.
Yes.
Then that could cause you to shift a little bit, or just like I said, if you don't know how to drive it.
If a tire's round, you measure all the way around the tire completely.
Circumference.
A 34.5 will have like 168-inch rollout.
Yeah.
36.
13, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. It's a big difference.
Okay.
It's a 34.5 to a 36. You're losing like 10 or 12 inches of rollout.
Oh.
But now you can also stretch a 36 round tire compared to a 34.5. You can stretch it on a wider rim.
Yeah.
easier, so that gives you a wider footprint too, plus your wider contact patch you're on.
This way. So
Yeah.
it's this way and this way.
Wow.
So you can get meaner with the car this way.
Okay.
You get meaner faster.
Okay.
So the car will leave harder and accelerate harder because you have more foot on the ground.
Okay.
We've always been able to leave really hard and 60 foot really good
with a
34.5.
And so you're not having to change shit.
Change shit. All of our data's on that.
Yeah. They have to relearn, which some of them have ran it before, and then they started running the bigger tire and got to go faster. But there's a lot of really smart guys that understand they're going to lose probably 2 numbers, whether it be 60 foot or a whole 8th mile pass. They're going to lose 2 numbers from going from a 36 to a 34.5.
So they're going to have to relearn quite a bit.
If they went 3 7s on a 36, now they're going 3 9s.
Okay.
On a 34.5. 2 numbers is a lot. That's a whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can carry 50 pounds and lose a number.
Wow.
So now, if they've got a 6-speed Linko on a blown Hemi screw blower,
so they got to change now they got to change transmission.
Yeah. Well, no, they got to carry weight.
Oh, we got to carry weight.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's kind of like docking you if you can't if you can't go within the realm of the rules. Okay, well, you can keep the 6-speed,
but you got to carry 50 pounds.
Okay.
50 pounds is a number.
Yeah, per gear, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So now they've lost their tire they're used to using, plus they have their setup. So do you want to lose a gear and sacrifice some top end pull?
So you said some guys use 8 speeds?
I mean, you can. I think the biggest guys were using last year was 6.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I was about to say, if you had an 8-speed, I was like, holy shit, that's like 150 pounds. I was like, that'd be like having a passenger. That's how much weight you'd have to add in that car to be legal if you didn't want to change out your transmission.
Wow. Anything over 3-speed or 4-speed. I don't remember what the rule was.
3-speed,
yeah. Okay.
They have to start carrying different weight. They're trying to get everything more into a realm of everyone's sets identical.
Yeah, they want people to race close.
Yeah. Oh no. Well, of course you do. It's just like NASCAR. I mean, hell, they're all other than maybe a little bit of aero. Yeah. Maybe other than the aerodynamics, depending on what. I mean, they're all modeled after, but they're just a shell. Yeah. So you could have just a tiny bit different aerodynamics, but at the end of the day, you've got to have pretty damn close to the same of everything. Yeah.
I like the fact that they put that year model.
Weight break
in there.
79 and before.
Yeah, it keeps the nostalgia look to it.
Okay.
I mean, even Pro Mod and them do that.
Yeah.
You use something older, you get a little bit of weight break for aerodynamics and stuff. 25 pounds isn't a lot, but it's just nice to see that
I just
considering that.
Wondered how much weight Dave added to that Audi with the roll-up window, or if there's. Did you see that he has?
He's already underweight, so it really doesn't.
Really?
Matter. Yeah.
Because whenever he was debuting, he's like, "Oh, look, it's got the roll down electric windows," and I was like,
"Got the light still in the door with his logo and shit in it." Yeah.
The car was built to know, okay, he can run at 3,600 pounds, just an average number. I don't know what it'll be, but it was built to know that. So let's build this car to weigh 2,500 pounds. And we're going to put weight where we need it. Yeah. Not have to worry about being overweight. So if you have the money to build a car the right way, you always build under and you add the weight where you want it.
Where it wants it.
Yeah. I need to get his ass on here someday and pick his brain about that. Because it's still like, I don't understand like where the idea came from. Is just
Bob.
Was it really?
Bob,
okay. Because I was wondering if Dave was like, I want to do something that's like different.
Not 100% on board with it.
Yeah.
He was just kind of on the fence about it, but it looks so good in that rendering. I even seen it then, and I was sold on that deal.
Wow.
I think it had a screw blower on the rendering, but he stuck with the Pro Charger thing. Yeah, and
it's got a good aerodynamic platform.
So
the thing about that, the wheelbase is good. You don't have to modify it to put a 36 on it, which we were able to run the 36 then.
Yeah.
Aerodynamics of that newer body style is good. It's just like the fucking complete package of being a good car to build per the rules, and not make a bunch of body modifications like some of them do. You can look at Lutz's car and go, okay, that don't look nothing like a fucking GTO.
Right.
That's why Swanstrom runs that Lexus he has.
Yeah.
It's a good modern car that will be capable to the rules, that has the right wheelbase, that's not altered and adjusted to look stupid. A car driving down the road, you go, hey, that guy drives one like that on TV. Yeah. Not, oh my God.
A lot of people don't look at the quarter panels of a car and go, oh, that's cool. But some of them look at it and go, fuck, that'll fit a 36. A fucking Chevelle is the perfect car. Like if I was going to build a actual MPK car for Damon Merchant, it was going to be a fucking 71 Chevelle.
Yeah.
But they changed the car on the street. We built our car to street race and shitty no preps. Now they changed the cars on the street, so we put Rogue into the MPK circuit. So we made the right changes to make that car work, and I don't have to build another $250,000-$300,000 car.
Exactly.
So we made the changes to it to make it work, and I don't have to build an MPK car. So we build Sedusa into what it is, and we make Rogue work.
Yeah.
With that being said, we probably would have never been able to fit a 36 on it without making some major modifications. So I've always stayed on 34.5.
Right.
But the Chevelle would fit a 36 no problem. That's got a good hip to it to fit that big ass tire, and that's what you got to look for in a body whenever you're picking one out. You want to pick something that fits the rules without making modifications to it, because they were going to hit you for weight with modifications at one point in time, but it kind of got out of hand to a point where people were making major modifications and they weren't hitting them with the weight requirements anymore. Because there's so many body styles. I wish that that's what they would focus on more. Not so much the power adder, but how the car looks. But they only have so many molds that they can kind of go off of.
So one question I had, because I think I asked you, but it was a while back. It was at I think it was in Alabama when Dave had the idea of the little water jet. But it took a while before they finally were like,
yeah, because he went around he had it right.
He what's said, because he found that it wasn't necessarily being injected. It was just misting, and it was sucking itself in.
Can't be attached to the blower. He didn't have it attached to the blower.
No.
Can't be injected.
Nope.
It was just being distributed.
The Pro Charger was doing the sucking on it. So I was like, because I didn't know shit about cars. But I was like,
he had it right. They just fucking overruled it.
Oh yeah. Because there was and Dave wasn't even getting mad. He's like, well, he was kind of like doing this shit, and they were like, yeah, well, this, that, and the other, and finally they were like, okay, they went and got another guy, and he came back and he kind of looked at him, and he had a look on his face like,
he said no from the get go.
Yeah, he's like, but no. So. But it's kind of cool that you can find loopholes and
you got to work that to your advantage too.
There's a lot of old drag racer guys. That's what to tell you. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah.
don't
you got to race around those guys.
Yeah,
and you got to be like, oh fuck, because they're doing it. They're doing the damn thing.
There's going to be somebody out there that's doing what they shouldn't be doing. If they slide by, they slide by. You want to call them out on it, or you just want to fix your program to outrun them? It feels
the balls to call them out on it too.
Well, that's what I thought was funny too, because I mean, really. Because I don't think it was the judges. Somebody said something.
Oh yeah, it was.
What do you call it? It was probably
disputed.
Somebody.
Disputed.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's because they all rolled up at once. It wasn't like one was like, "Hey, what's this sort?" No, they all came up and looked, and they all bent down and looked immediately, and they were like, "Ah, fuck!" Somebody tattled on me.
Probably one of them NOLA guys or something.
That's the big deal with it. I mean, you really got to build your car like we did with Rogue. It's got to be to the rules.
Yep.
But you've got to ride. I mean, the gray area, I think our weight this year is like 2,600 pounds. You've got to be, 10 pounds over.
Right.
If the rule says 25, we need to weigh 25.10.
Yeah.
Or you got to know what that allowance is. Like, I think they had like a 13-pound allowance.
Oh, okay.
In case he eats cheeseburger or we run the car low on fuel, whatever. You can be a little bit, you can weigh over if you want to. It doesn't matter. But you can't be under by X amount of weight, whatever they call for. And that's build your car 10 pounds heavy.
So do they like the minute you get there, do they like weigh you in, or how's that work?
You weigh after you make a pass.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you take into if you take into consideration that you weigh X amount and you're right on the line, you have to think about the fuel that you use in that pass.
Right.
So after I make this pass, am I still gonna make weight?
Right.
Yeah.
That's where that kind of comes in. So if you're right on fucking weight and they give you a 13-pound allowance, you better make sure that fuel that you consumed is within that 13 pounds.
So what happens for like
7 pounds per gallon, I think, right?
What happens for like bigger guys? Like like disco? I mean, like what? Like is he got?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay, because I didn't know like if he's got his.
They don't take your driver into consideration.
They never do. Okay,
No.
okay. I always wondered. So it's all about just.
It's all.
But I mean, even like in his
starting weight
mind,
is.
would he be thinking about? Okay, I weigh this much.
You weigh with the scales.
Okay,
You weigh
okay.
with the car on
Right,
the scales.
right. So
if he's 280,
yeah,
like you got to think of 280 pounds with that car.
right.
It's
Okay.
with the driver.
But if you have like a guy like Craig who's been a $150 his whole life and they're
Mhm.
not going to change, he's like, okay, this is who I am. This
You
is
have to weigh with the car.
yeah.
You want to know what it weighs at the starting line.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
you
it
better-
could it be an advantage? Like, let's just say he just for some crazy reason just is like, I'm done doing this. I'm going to start. And like over a year and a half, he drops like 180 pounds.
If his car has to weigh 2,500 pounds,
He has to add weight.
he has to.
So
add
he
weight.
loses weight, you add weight to. Okay,
Yeah.
I see how that works.
Yeah.
Because I was just wondering, because I mean, I'm sure there are guys out there that have been heavier or have been lighter and either gained weight or lost weight,
Well,
and then
that's
they get
me.
there. Yeah,
I'm trying to lose 15 pounds by June 1st because I think I know what my car's going to weigh.
Yeah.
I know what my legal weight is, and I can stand to lose 15 pounds.
Yeah,
So
well.
by June 1st, I need to lose 15 pounds.
hey man, just cut out carbs. Do like me, man. I've been eating steak every night. It's been awesome.
Tuna, baby.
Ugh, so you can't have no more
I'm
bologna.
on that fit.
That bologna's got
I
way too.
love bologna,
Dude, it's
though.
got too much fat in it. Bologna's like the assholes of every lips and assholes. That's what they're called. That's like hot dogs. I mean,
They're good.
oh no,
okay?
they're great. Don't get me wrong. I love me some salty ass sandwich meat, but my God, after I found out how it was made, I was like, I'm going to put some extra ketchup on that. Well, dudes, we got an hour and a half in. I'm really impressed. We got some drinking, we got some good stuff in, and we have got to do this again. I think
we
this
can
will
do
be
this more
fun.
and more.
For sure.
Oh yeah,
Here
absolutely.
or at my
Here,
shop
yeah, I
or
can.
where
It's not. It's not.
wherever.
I wanted to just test it out, and since this is my little podcast studio, I
Yep.
thought it'd
I'm
be fun.
surprised it
but-
sounds as good as it. Like I didn't know it was gonna sound like this when we got on this first podcast I've ever done.
Yeah,
and I didn't know it was gonna sound like this.
yeah. We're gonna have to get with Damon with staying still because he likes to do this shit. Get away from the
way
microphone,
away.
get back
I
into
move
it,
a
get
lot.
away from it,
I
and get
move a
back
lot.
into it.
I gotta know. Does this thing have like a cool like doing noise or anything?
I have it. All these
Boing.
pads right here, they program. So yeah, we can.
What that one do?
None of them. They're all empty right now. I know that's what I'm gonna do. I had
Boing.
the one I had before this had fart noises,
Yeah.
and me and
Oh,
Ellis sit here and play
fuck.
with it. Dude, Ellis was rolling his ass off. He loved it. And I got the new one. He's like, "Where's the fart?" I was like, sorry, bro. I had to put some more farts on here for you." Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Damon. Thank you, Craig. And we will be back
We got
very
plenty more.
shortly to keep you updated. And if everything goes well, there is a very good chance we might be doing some NPK podcast. We will see.
We should.
We
for
will see.
sure.
I just think Damon was the one that brought it up to me and was like, dude,
It's a key.
he said they kind of did it before in the past on a few, got great reviews, a lot of fun, a lot of trash talk,
Not
a
for
lot of
NPK,
drama.
but they
Yeah.
did it for the street stuff.
Yeah.
For the
And
street
I
stuff
think
too,
For the
yeah.
NPK, like
Yeah.
we get something on that night as
Yeah.
it goes down. I think it's golden.
Yeah.
And you would hear it
Yeah,
straight.
you might
from
have to
this
tune
place.
in at like 2 a.m, but that's when we'll do it. We'll do it live, and once it's over with, it's deleted.
Yeah.
Well, all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you later.